Hey guys, what the heck is up? Today we have another tarot reading. We're gonna make this a daily thing. It's gonna be a ritual. And I'm actually excited to do that. Like, I was thinking earlier, I was like, I can't wait to do a tarot reading. And I feel like that's a good sign. So, and there could be a message in there of like, you are finding your excitement and you're just carving out the time to do that thing that gets you excited. No matter if it's not like your profession, but you are making the time to give to your excitement because that is what lights you up. That is where you find energy. And it's very Wands energy. So we'll see if the cards reflect that. Okay, any messages for today? So on the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit, which is it's the card of the wise old man. But I was reading Joseph Campbell the other day, who's a comparative mythologist, who's got a lot of good stuff. If you're looking for an author and who writes about, all the different mythologies and religions of many different civilizations and compares them and finds their similarities, he's a great author to check out. But he talks about the old man and the child being of similar energies, of being like outside of time. And so this is making me think of synchronicity and how like when you experience synchronicity, it's almost like time collapses and there's no like cause and effect in linear time doesn't apply here anymore. And like this is happening at this time for a reason because of everything else that is going on in your situation. So synchronicities may be popping up. So keep track of synchronicities, and because they are pointing you towards your excitement, or just they're pointing you towards what you need to focus on and things that matter in your life at this time. So yeah, keep track, notes app, write it down. Okay, and then, interesting. So we've got some peculiar energies on the board. And the message that it's giving to me, so we have the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and then the Page of Wands. And the Seven and Eight of Swords is about like bondage and stealing energy. So like this guy, he's like getting away with something. He's like, it looks like he's a thief. And this person it looks like he like tied this girl up. And so what this is giving to me is that this is what you're moving away from. And this is what you're recognizing. These things in your life that give this energy. So this, I feel like, is distractions. It's distracting you away from finding your power. And you're noting what these things are, and you are identifying them. And that is the first thing. That is the first step to stepping into this Page of Wands and like knowing how much power you do have. And the swords, they're swords. Seven and Eight of Swords. And the swords is about the mind and thinking. So this could be like, what you are thinking, like the recurring thought patterns that you have. But it's also making me think of like distractions and things that are distracting your energy and attention, because our attention is everything. That is where our attention goes, energy flows, and that's what grows. So whatever you're putting forth your energy and time and attention into is what you're going to see flourish in your life. And I think you're recognizing some of the things that aren't so good for your attention, that you don't necessarily want to see flourish in your life. And for me, this would probably be social media, which I've taken a step back from, but I do find myself every once in a while like scrolling on like YouTube, like watching things that are not conducive to my highest timeline. But I mean, I'm a person, I'm a human, but they are energy stealers. And this could be a person too, or just any relationship that is not, it's taking more, and it's tying you up and restricting you more than letting you be free and flowing and like yourself. So you're noting these energies, you're pinpointing them, and you are like, okay, I understand what this is. I understand this relationship is not what I want. And so we're gonna move on, and I have the power to look at something else, pay attention to something else. And that's where your power is. Your power is in knowing that you get to choose where you put your energy and where you put forth your attention, because you know that that's what grows in your life. Those kind of thoughts are the thoughts that you'll see and the type of experiences you'll experience, because you're changing your frame of thinking. You're noting these thought patterns. You're noting these patterns of bondage and restriction, like, this doesn't make me feel great. Okay, noted. Let's change it. And that's where my power is. And thus my reality will reflect those changes. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. Sometimes it does, but it's about the discipline and the practice of those different kinds of thoughts, different kinds of relationships. Okay, let's get a couple more. This guy wants to come out. Okay, that's enough. Wow, and so that's the Magician. So you're turning from this Page of Wands into this Magician. This is a practice. You've begun the practice, and this is what you're turning into. Someone that creates their reality. And also, magic spells are important. Spelling, words, the truth. We want to make sure we're speaking the truth in whatever we're talking about, because what we're speaking into existence. We are creating the reality we want to experience by what we talk about and what we say. If we're speaking our truth, that is what we experience back. We're literally putting it out there, and what we put out, we get back. And we're understanding this, and that you are a magician for knowing this. Abracadabra, mother effer. Oh my God. Okay, what are these? Okay. So we've got the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, the King of Pentacles, and Judgment. So, let's see. This is giving me like a few different messages, but I feel like this is for my black sheep. And so maybe you are doing something different than what people have done before you, specifically family, but also just like traditionally, like your stereotypical way of life. You're not doing that. But what I'm seeing is that you're going to be successful, and it's going to be calling people's attention back to what really matters, because a lot of people, I mean, we're in strange times these days, but you have been developing this knowledge, this inner wisdom, and this connection back with yourself and your truth. And you're going to be blowing the horn. When you speak your truth, you ring other people's bells, and you make them either understand or reflect back on if they are speaking their truth, or if they're not speaking their truth, it might, rub some people the wrong way, but it does plant that seed and call this to their attention. Even if they try to push it under the rug, it's still in their consciousness. And so, yeah, you may not, with this Ten of Pentacles in reverse and the King of Pentacles, this is definitely unconventional. Unconventional. And you're doing things different, and that can be a little scary, but you're stepping into your power, and you're building with the Pentacles. You are building this. You're building something new that is built on truth. And people are going to hear that. They're going to hear that and want to follow. They're going to hear it and want to join you in this new truth building. Even though, who cares if it's not what people have done in the past? You're doing it, and people, they know. They see what it's built on. They see that it's coming from your core, and that your authentic self is, you have tended to this, and they see that. They see that you've built this for yourself, and they want to join in and build something like that for themselves too. That's what the people want. And that's what we've been missing. Everyone, we're living this, there's like so many people living this, cookie cutter life that doesn't make sense anymore. It doesn't make sense anymore. And you're going different. You're choosing the path less traveled, and you're bringing people with you. You're bringing people with you who are like-minded and also want to take this journey, the hero's journey. Also a Joseph Campbell thought invention, the hero's journey. This has been around. He's only come up with this, diagram for the hero's journey because it's been around. But yeah, you're taking the hero's journey. And that's exciting. And part of that is dealing with these guys and being disciplined enough to say no. And not just being receptive to the universe, and like, that is so important. That's what we've been missing, is being like listening to the universe. But when the universe brings something your way, because it may have been reflecting something that's not dealt with inside, we're recognizing like, okay, I may have used to resonate with that, and that is why I've called it back into my life, but now I've called it back into my life to say no to it, to access that power within myself to say no. It is my choice, and I say no, and I'm moving towards building a different life. I'm calling judgment, and I'm building a different life. And I'm going to be so successful with it. That's what you're building. So that's freaking awesome. And then we have strength at the bottom of the deck. You have the courage. You're so courageous for doing this. So I'm behind you. I'm 10 toes behind you guys. So that's awesome. That's going to be the message for today. Let's freaking go. Let's go. We're building a new earth. Hell yeah. All right. See ya.